This is just making my mouth water. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. So glad you decided to join me today. You know, I've been so blessed over the years to come up with a lot of great friends in this industry, and I'm so happy today to have Chef Jamie Keating with me from Columbus, Georgia. He's the owner of Epic Restaurant. He's a former member of the U.S. Culinary team. He's a fantastic chef and a great friend. So you've got a lot to look forward to today. He also was with me last night for the Chef Series, and the people in Augusta that were there had a fantastic time. We're going to do 3 recipes today. He's going to start with the pancetta wrapped beef tenderloin. This puts pork on top of the leanest cut of beef. It's going to be fantastic. A savory semolina souffle. It's a great alternative to a starch. And then finally, a pressed greens dish. So let's get started. Can't wait to introduce you to Jamie. Hey everybody, I want to certainly introduce you to Jamie Keating. He's a good friend, he's a fantastic chef, and we've been doing this now for a couple of years. You coming and joining us on the VeryVera Show. Welcome.
Thank you for having us again. I believe number 3. It might be
our
our third time.
It is, absolutely. And you know, some folks in Augusta got a preview last night because you came over to the cottage and we did a fantastic, what we call a chef's table, and just you wowed the audience. I hope they'll all go home and make the recipes. It was just fantastic. So, you know, tell the audience out here, Jamie, a little bit about how you got started in cooking.
Well, I started at the age of 13, and I love working with my hands. I realized that quickly, but more so being a servant at heart for both the front of the house of the restaurants and the back of the house. But wearing that tall white hat, and, you know, by the time I was 16, it was a passion of mine from there. I just felt like there was a nice symbol to that white hat, and went to culinary school in upstate New York. And then went for Hyatt hotels after that, and just the rest is all history, just every day.
Well, you know, Epic Restaurant is just, it's unbelievable that that restaurant is in Columbus, Georgia. I mean, you beat out Atlanta restaurants for an amazing award. Tell us a little bit about Epic and the award that you received.
So Epic is one of 2 restaurants outside of the city of Atlanta that has AAA 4 diamonds, and it's very important to me. I believe we cook every day and we turn the page, and we're only as good as what we do tonight. In terms of our service. But this particular award was very, very near and dear to me, and it's our 3rd year now. And the reason being is it took the whole family to pull it together. You know, everybody has a piece, and you have secret spies that just come in and they test you.
Oh,
and
gosh.
And we must have been lucky 3 times. So
oh, no, there wasn't
nice.
any luck about it. When I came to Columbus the first time, when you and I were just getting to know each other, and I was a guest at the chef's table, that experience was phenomenal. And I thought, I cannot eat 8 courses worth of food, but you just kept bringing it, and it was just completely amazing. So tell us a little bit about the fact that you were on the Culinary Olympic team.
Yeah, so 2004 through 2008, I was on the culinary team, United States Culinary Olympic team. Not many people know about it. Really got me into it was right in college. A chef, Paul Sorgel, who was one of my instructors, really got to see his gold medals, and I said, I got to get a couple of those, you know, and wasn't good at the javelin or discus, so I wasn't going to get it that way, and maybe I could still do curling at my age, I'm not sure, but I just wanted to be part of really something big and great and educational, because when we do these competitions all over the world, we're really pushing the envelope of creativity. And that basically inspires others to come up with different, innovative
Right,
cuisine.
and I think that's why your restaurant has been so successful, is that constant creativity that you bring to what you prepare there at Epic. What if somebody asked you what your favorite recipe was or your favorite dish? What would that be?
Well, my favorite thing is take, you know, cuts of meat that are not just the prime cuts, maybe secondary cuts like, you know, shanks and braised items or slow cook, because I feel like there's so much love you have to put into it. If I'm braising a rabbit or something of that nature, I just love the rustic, you know, down to earth, really, the basic, simplistic ingredients in a braise or a stew. And I don't use the word casserole, though, I'm sorry.
Well, you call it a souffle and you can charge more
there
for
you go,
it.
that's right.
Okay, so we're going to get started on a pancetta wrapped beef tenderloin. So stick around, you don't want to miss this part. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining us, I'm with Chef Jamie Keating from Epic Restaurant in Columbus, Georgia, and he is going to introduce us to some technique with beef tenderloin.
Absolutely, a very lean cut of meat, but we're going to show you some fun things, not just by wrapping it in pancetta bacon and adding some flavor that way,
wow,
but we're also maybe touch a little bit on sous vide cooking under vacuum.
Oh, wonderful. All right.
When we go this, what we don't want to do is we don't want to use any of our salts, so we don't want to extract that moisture unless we're curing a salmon. So here, with just a little bit of black peppercorn will be fine.
That's such a beautiful cut of meat. Real
Absolutely.
lean.
And we're right here, we're going to have our sliced pancetta bacon. It's basically bacon that's rolled, it's cured and rolled, has some spices to it on that Italian variety of flavor.
Could you use prosciutto?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can use bacon slices themselves.
Oh, wow.
But I recommend a thinner cut of bacon.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, absolutely go that route. And I would probably recommend you get it sliced in advance. Like ask your deli professional for
so
it sliced
you can get
thin.
it that thin. Like that.
Yes, and then maybe put it in between some parchment paper slices or wax paper. Just ask. You know, you'll find out what you get when you ask. You don't know. So here we have the meat, just in pepper, no salt once again. And also bacon has salt, so we don't want to get too cured. I'd recommend if you want to do this, you could do this in advance, but I would do it more so on the morning or 2 or 3 hours prior to. Because if we wrap it in bacon or prosciutto or the pancetta, that brininess, the curedness, that salt is going to leach itself into the meat, and it's going to start curing that beef. All right, so what I did here is I took saran wrap, one of my favorite things in the whole wide world, and well, you could do it on your marble stainless steel countertop. Here I just took a cookie sheet and just put a light dusting of water on there, just so the saran wrap would adhere to the board itself or the pan. And I'm just gonna roll that like such.
Gosh, oh, I know our viewers are gonna do this. This is amazing.
Now I'm gonna cinch it up real tight. In my recipe, I recommend that maybe pop this in the fridge or freezer or on a cold plate real quick, just to let that pancetta, just stay nice and chilled for the next step.
Okay.
You don't want to freeze it for hours, but just 4 or 5 minutes, or in the fridge for like 5 or 10. Now, at this point in time, we've removed it from our saran wrap.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am. And I have this fun stuff.
I love this part.
This is jet netting. And back in the day, you would actually take butcher's twine and you'd tie the meat like that.
Right.
Well, this is a one-stop shop right here. So we took an old can. I don't even remember what this can, what was in this can, okay? And we pulled it like hosiery, stocking over that can.
Okay.
And then from there, as you see it's cinched up, we pull.
Oh my gosh.
And we're done.
And you can order this on Amazon.
Absolutely.
Wow.
There's companies like sausage making companies, you name it. Back in the day, there was so many things that weren't, out there for everybody to get.
Okay, we've gone ahead and done one. I didn't do it. He did it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this right here is the tenderloin. And what's great about it is that we did a sous vide in our machine here at 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you can set that to whatever you want. But the beautiful thing is we could put that in 5 hours ago.
I know it.
And when it comes time, the most important thing when we get ready to sear here is to have a nice hot pan.
Okay.
And it comes out of the circulator, and we want to make sure we pat it dry. Now, depending on the diameter of the meat, that's a great question. How long should I cook it for? If you're setting it at 130 degrees, it could reach that internal temperature, in about 45 minutes to an hour.
And this is like medium rare now.
It's medium rare, correct.
But you can still see that fat that adds all the flavor.
Because the meat is so lean, and you pay so much money for these lean cuts. Why do you want to put it on a hot grill or too hot of a pan or in a cast iron?
So we need to put some oil in
and melt it out. Absolutely. So I have a little canola oil here, and once again, we haven't seasoned the product yet. The ham's going to do itself. When you season, you want to pretty much try to do it closer to the end anyway. And if I may get some butter, please.
And how much butter? You got a lot of butter over here.
Let's go with 4 lumps.
Okay, 4 lumps of butter.
So the oil itself is helping carry along the butter and making sure that it's not too much on the milk solid end of it where it'll start to burn too much. So here we're gonna place with the jet netting on.
Wow, okay.
And we're gonna baste this meat, similar to like basting a turkey at Thanksgiving time. And I need some of those aromats there.
All this other stuff over here?
Yeah,
Aromats.
Aromats, garlic, shallots. I mean, that's how we can charge more money. You know
Yeah, it's because it sounds so
we
fancy.
use aromats. Now what we want to do is here, we don't want to cook it too long, but we want it, that's where the pan needs to be hot. We want to get some caramelization on that bacon.
Okay.
And throw the whole stems in there.
Oh,
The whole thing. Yeah, whole thing in there.
Wow.
Absolutely. So, and another way to go about this, you know, I'm on the VeryVera show, so I spare no expense when I come here. But
that's exactly right.
if you're using rosemary,
we're gonna need to finish this during the break because we got to go to break. But in Vera's Corner today, Jamie's gonna go over some different cuts of beef, and then we're gonna start on the savory semolina. That is a great alternative start. So come back with us in just a few minutes. My good friend, Chef Jamie Keating, is very versed in all aspects of cooking and food preparation. Today, he's going to go over some common cuts of beef so you can be well on your way to chef status.
Filet mignon is cut from the tenderloin and is one of the most tender cuts of beef. A 1,000-pound steer yields only about 7 to 15 pounds of this mild cut, which is why it's fairly expensive. Filets are great and simply seasoned with just salt and pepper alone. Flank steak is a long, flat cut of belly muscle that has a distinctive vertical grain and can be a bit chewy. To tenderize this lean meat, try marinating and always slice against the grain. New York strip is cut from the top of the short loin. A longtime steakhouse favorite, it's renowned for its robust flavor and somewhat dense texture. The ribeye is cut from the top of the steer's rib section where the meat is generously marbled with fat. One of America's most popular steaks, the ribeye has a velvety texture and a full-bodied flavor, thanks to the distribution of that fat throughout. Sirloin comes from the area between the short loin, home of the porterhouse and T-bone, and less pricey round, so it delivers taste and tenderness for a lower price. There are plenty more cuts of beef we could all learn about, but you know some of the most common now. Next time you approach the meat counter, you know exactly what you're looking for.
Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining us, I'm with Chef Jamie Keating, and during the break, we learned a little bit about cuts of meat, so hopefully that helped everybody out there. And now we're going to get started on two side dishes, two components to go with the beef tenderloin that's just smells amazing.
This is one of my favorite starches. This is a semolina Asiago cake. The classical term is gnocchi alla romaine. It's not the potato dumpling pasta, but in case you want to charge a couple extra bucks on that menu, once again, case you want to open that restaurant. So it's starting to thicken up here. The heavy cream is already in there. The milk, butter, little pinch of nutmeg, salt, pepper, and once again, we can adjust the seasonings at the end, Vera, but I'm gonna hit it with the Asiago cheese. And what helps this be a souffle, if you would help me add the egg, that's right there. Just kind of almost adding almost one at a time would be fantastic. Very good. And that's gonna help it rise and get it super tasty. Fantastic. And then from there, Vera, if we could, I'll take that from you. Okay. We need to figure out what we're baking in. It could go in a muffin tin. It could go in a nice little 4-ounce disposable souffle cup right there, or even in a traditional souffle cup.
And you know, like you say, don't use the word casserole. Use souffle, and you can charge more.
Absolutely, and don't forget the taste. And then from there, we'll add it to the cup.
Okay.
I recommend, as you'll see here, this is the finished product. Cover it with saran wrap and bake it in the oven for at a low temperature, you know, not as high as 325, 350, but 275 to 300. It's probably take about 20 minutes or so. And then for the last 4 or 5 minutes, release the cover, the saran or foil, and let it finish up till it browns up.
Oh, look at that. So this is a great alternative instead of potatoes or rice.
Fantastic, yes.
All righty. So now we're going to get started on these greens. This is...
What I really wanted to discuss quickly is that, you know, a lot of times folks see a recipe that says Blanche, and that's not a person's name, Blanche. And what we got here is asparagus peelings that basically just took the asparagus stem and just made long peelings and saved the beautiful little tips so we can use that as garnish. We added to hot salted boiling water. It could be at a simmer as well. And here we're just talking about a light blanch. And the blanching is the important piece is the hot salted water. The second most important piece is to shock
really,
it.
because if it was a whole piece of asparagus, it would be like 5 minutes. So this is like
Wham bam, thank you,
yeah,
man. We want to get that
absolutely.
chlorophyll out there. And the tips could go a little bit longer. That's fine.
Well, I can watch that.
Now, as far as the pan, I have a hot pan here.
Yes, you do.
And what we're going to do is we're going to saute off this Swiss chard. And I didn't use any fat at this point in time, because what's going to happen is we're going to get a lot of moisture come off the spinach and the greens. And I didn't even add my garlic and shallots just yet. So I'm kind of letting the harder shards sit down first. Then I hit a little bit of chopped shallots and garlic.
It's so colorful.
And right here, we're just gonna hit it with just a splash of water. Now, spinach releases a ton of water, just like mushrooms, but they always need a little kickstart before they get going. Now, after we saute that, obviously we'll season it. If I may, I'll take these bad boys here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Drain it really good. We're gonna add it to our greens. I'll finish it with a little bit of salt and pepper. As you see, they're sweating down really quick. But the cool thing is we call them pressed greens. Now, this recipe is fine by itself. You don't have to get fancy and press them.
Oh, but it's so fancy.
Exactly. So we have a mold right there that's already of any kind. You can use a half sheet pan, make it any different size.
Any terrain mold.
And we took a little bit of the saran wrap, or you can use wax paper, deli paper, anything of that nature, into the mold. And then we're gonna go ahead and press this. Now, I can't figure out today what to press it with. Do you have an idea?
Oh, absolutely. How about a rolling pin?
That'd be fantastic.
I was going to hit you in the head with it. But
So
we'll
if it was
use
rectangular pan, and use something rectangular, but this will fit the contour of that.
Oh.
And then the final product, obviously,
It's
is
just
the pressed
gorgeous.
greens.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're going to keep working on this, get that pressed in the pan. When we come back from the break, we're going to sit down at Vera's chef table.
All right.
That we're going to recreate from Epic, and I hope you'll be here to join us. Welcome back, everybody, and I am ready for the chef's table. What a great experience today. Jamie, I cannot wait to try what you've put together. So tell us what's going on.
All right.
What'd you do during the break? I didn't let you rest.
We cooked the soufflés, sliced the tenderloin, as you see here. And then I also sauteed up a little mushroom and added a sauce to the repertoire of the dish.
Oh my gosh.
Just like such.
Okay, well, we're going to kind of recap what we did today as well. So as you're putting that sauce on there, just quickly describe what we did to this beef tenderloin.
All right, pancetta wrap beef tenderloin, cooked at sous vide. That means cooking under vacuum. Pressed greens, the semolina souffle, AKA gnocchi alla romaine. And then from here, we had a nice little brown sauce, some sauteed mushrooms. These little cool crisps are basically parsnips. Another word for that would be a white carrot, if that really was a word. And voila, pressed greens.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now when you sliced the beef tenderloin, was there any particular technique? I know you always have very sharp knives.
Yeah, very sharp knives are always important. The most dangerous tool in the kitchen is a dull knife. But with that being said, just like Thanksgiving, once again, my favorite holiday, let the beef rest for a couple of minutes before slicing it.
Yes.
So you don't lose all that wonderful flavor we worked hard to capture.
Okay, well, obviously you've elevated plate presentation to a complete different level. I think a lot of times people kind of think more is the way to go. You know, on your portions and your servings when you do the chef's table, like I said, when I knew I was going to have 8 courses, I thought I will never eat all of this. But the presentation actually takes you in to the experience before you ever have the first bite. And I know I've got to go into this right now, but the sauce that you did for this is very fluid. Tell me a little bit about that.
Peregrine sauce is another classical sauce, so it has a little truffle, little foie gras dusted in there and finished off instead of butter.
Medium rare is perfect on this tenderloin. Okay, and then the perfect starch and the way that it browned up on top.
Yeah, absolutely. When you remove that saran wrap at the end and just let it brown, it works fantastic. We've even stuffed it with a braised meat, like a cheek or something of that nature, for different varieties of dishes.
Well, and could you stuff the tenderloin? Could you do the same thing and maybe do a stuffing in the tenderloin?
I'd much rather wrap it. I got stabbed in culinary school a long time ago when I took a nice, beautiful, solid muscle meat like that and butterflied it to put something inside. If you're going to spend the money for that type of cut of meat, go ahead and let it stand on its own.
Let it stand on its own. Okay, so now let me try this greens.
And you can add different flavors into that, or just drizzle it with a nice
And
oil,
that's
flavorful.
great, piping hot, but that could be a salad.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just wonderful, just stone cold. Well, again, Jamie, you have just completely taken something like this that looks so amazing. You've simplified it for our audience today. He's giving us these recipes as well that are always available on our website at VeryVera.com. And the way that you've been able to put this presentation together is certainly something that we hope folks in the audience will do. And one of the ways that we would love for you to engage with us is with our social media channels, to try these recipes, take a picture of it, let us know what it looks like and how you enjoyed it. So Jamie, as always, you just are a fabulous guest. You were terrific last night at the Chef Series. Our Augusta audience had such a great time. We hope that you will continue to follow us on VeryVera, and if you are in the neighborhood, stop by and see us. Remember, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. Come back and join us next week. Brittany Kisner will be here with Masters Cooking, so join us.
To see what's cooking with the VeryVera Show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.